It's getting very late due to network problem. At last, we have been live, and I hope you all will keep listening to me very patiently. Today, we are going to talk about a very important, one of the most important, most vital, most pivotal poets of the Romantic age. As we know, there are five great Romantic poets. They are William Wordsworth, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Shelley, Keats, and Byron. But there is another romantic poet whom we sometimes tend to forget, and the name of this poet is William Blake. William Blake is both a poet and a painter. He not only wrote poetry but also drew a lot of pictures, very beautiful pictures on various themes. So he's a very vital poet in uh, English literature, but also in the whole world. Now we will talk about his psychological things that he thought. Simply, William Blake is an English poet. He is a painter and he is also a printmaker, largely unrecognized during his life. Blake has become a seminal figure in the history of the poetry and visual art of the Romantic age. Poetry, what he called his prophetic works, were said by the 20th century critic Northrop Frye to form what is, in proportion to its merits, the least read body of poetry in the English language. While he lived in London his entire life, except for 3 years spent in Felpham, he produced uh, he produced a diverse and symbolically rich collection of works which embraced the imagination as the body of God or human existence himself. Today, we are going to talk about what he thought about human sexuality, human free thinking, human divorce, human marriage system, human consummation system. So, we will just talk about this from the page of Wikipedia. Sexuality and free love in the poems in the thinkings of William Blake. Since his death, due to Catherine's apparent inability to bear children, he directly advocated bringing a second wife into the house. His poetry suggests that external demands for marital fidelity reduce love to mere duty rather than authentic affection and decries jealousy and egotism as a motive for marriage laws. Poems such as Why Should I Be Bound to Thee, O My Lovely Myrtle Tree, and Arthur's Answer seem to advocate multiple sexual partners. In his poem London, he speaks of the marriage years plagued by the youthful harlot's curse, the result alternatively of false prudence and or harlotry. Visions of the daughters of Albion is widely, though not universally, read as a tribute to free love, since the relationship between Bromion and Uthon is held together only by laws and not by love. For Blake, love and love are opposed, and he castigates the frozen magic bed in Visions. Blake writes, Till she who burns with youth and knows no fixed lot is bound in spells of law to one she loathes. And must she drag the chain of life in weary lust? In the 19th century, poet and free love advocate Algernon Charles Swinburne wrote a book on Blake, drawing attention to the above motives in which Blake praises sacred natural love that is not bound by another's possessive jealousy. The latter, characterized by Blake as a creeping skeleton. Swinburne notes how Blake's marriage of heaven and hell condemns the hypocrisy of the pale religious lechery of advocates of traditional norms. Another 19th century advocate, Edward Carpenter, was influenced by Blake's mystical emphasis on energy free from external restrictions. In the early 20th century, Pierre Berger, Blake's views echo Mary Wollstonecraft's celebration of joyful, authentic love rather than love born of duty. The former being the true measure of purity. Irene Langris notes that in Blake's mysterious and unorthodox creed, the doctrine of free love was something Blake wanted for the edification of the soul. Michael Davis' 1977 book William Blake, A New Kind Man, suggests that Blake thought jealousy separates and unity, condemning him to a frozen death. As a theological writer, Blake has a sense of human fallenness. S. Foster Damon noted that for Blake, the major impediments to a free love society were corrupt human nature, not merely the intolerance of society and the jealousy of man, but the inauthentic, hypocritical nature of human communication. Thomas Wright's 1928 book, Life of William Blake, entirely devoted to Blake's doctrine of free love, notes that Blake thinks marriage should, in fact, afford the joy of love, but notes that in reality it often does not, as a couple's knowledge of being chained often diminishes their joy. Pierre Berger also analyzes Blake's early mythological poems such as Ahania as declaring marriage laws to be a consequence of the fallenness of humanity, as these are born from pride and jealousy. I hope you are very patiently listening to this video because it's going to be a little bit longer video than what I thought about this. Some scholars have noted that Blake's views on free love are both qualified and may have undergone shifts and modifications in his late years. Some poems from this period warn of dangers of predatory sexuality, such as the Sick Rose. Magnus Ankerso notes that while the hero of visions of the daughters of Albion is a strong advocate of free love, by the end of the poem she has become more circumspect as her awareness of the dark side of sexuality has grown. Saying, can this be love which drinks another as a sponge drinks water? Ankerso also notes